I look a hot mess, Express, because my eye's all wonky. Oh, my eye is all wonky. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie, and in today's video, I want to see if one, I read my 5-star predictions, and two, if my prediction meter is right, and if they actually were 5-star predictions. So I was scrolling through my videos yesterday, and I had assumed that I had done a 5-star predictions last year. No, I didn't. You see, I have not done one of these since, looks like, middle of 2022. That was the only 5-star predictions I've done, and I didn't do one any last year. So I want to do a new one for this coming year, so that should be coming up. But whoa, cats, whoa, come here, sir. Why are you running when I'm filming? Why? But first I need to see what books I put on there the first time. So we're gonna watch this video from 2022. It looks like it was mid 2022. Does it say like what day I actually put it on? No, it just says a year ago. It doesn't tell me the exact day. That's a crock. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I will have it linked for you guys if you want to go out and rewatch it. But let's just see. Let's just see if I actually read the books that I think I'm going to read, and if my predictive meter is right. Look at my dark hair. That is some dark hair, and I'm missing that. What a time to be alive when I did that intro. I legit have to find where it starts, because I know I'm a talker, and I talked a lot through this video. Yes, let's get into it. We are 3 minutes, 24 seconds in. Lord have mercy. Is Sweet Dandelion by McKay. Sweet Dandelion. 5 stars. Read it in December, and it was one of my favorites of the year, if not my top favorite of the year. I loved this book. This book was so good. This was actually a recommendation from McKay, from Oh Hey It's McKay, and I've been putting it off, and then I read it, and I'm like, why are you putting it off? Why did you put it off? Because it was that good. Oh my gosh. It is like a taboo, age gap, student guidance counselor romance, but like she's of age. It was just, oh my god. So good. Loved it. 5 stars. We're doing well. You all need to leave. Loved it. Okay. Next one. The next author is Brittany C. Cherry. I actually have a few books on this list of hers. The first one is Eleanor in Gray. This is like a... No. We were doing well. I was like, oh, we're going to do well, because like the first ones we already got. No. So Eleanor in Gray is on my shelf. I have it. What book don't I have at this point? It is a second chance romance. It's also like a nanny boss type of ordeal. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Still on my list, but no, did not read that one. Okay, the next book is Praise by Sarah Kate. Daddy Emerson. If you couldn't tell by my reaction, it was a 5 freaking star. Okay, I read Praise in January. So most of these books took me like a half a year or more to read, but that's okay. So I read Praise in January of last year. I absolutely loved it. Daddy Emerson is, he just is. And I loved it. Did I go on with the series? Yes and no. I read Highest Bidder because after I read Praise, I wanted to be on her ARC team. So I got on her ARC team. So I got the ARC of Highest Bidder, the ARC of Madam, and then the ARC of the Anti-Hero. Cue Taylor Swift. But I didn't read the other ones yet. So I need to go back and read them. But I loved Praise. I loved Praise. And I found out that I love Praise. Like, myself. So it was awakening. It was an awakening for me. It was 5 stars. I was right about this book. I knew it would be because it is an ex's father, and I just have a thing about ex's fathers. And not in my real life. No, because that would never happen. But in the books, yes. Okay, the next book is called A Love Letter to Whiskey, and pardon me. A Love Letter to Whiskey. If you are not new here, you know that for the longest time after I read this book, this was my favorite book of all time. And it has gotten bumped. I just read a book that was like a 6 star, and it kind of bumped the space of this. I'm sorry. I haven't talked about that book yet, but I will at some point. But this book was the first Candy Steiner book I read. It made me feel things that I was not prepared for. I wanted to throw the book. I wanted to throw up. I cried reading this book. There was footage of me on the internet crying while reading this book. This is a book that I made my whole personality after I read it. I loved it so much. When I read it, it was not very long after this. It was like maybe 2 months after I did this video. And it just became my world. I loved it. It was 5 stars. So good. This is about Jamie and Bee, and this is like the ultimate right person, wrong time book. Forever and ever. It's that book. It's the angst. It's the they should be together, but they're not. They need to be, but they're not. Oh, so good. 5 stars. I knew going in this was going to be 5 stars because everyone was like, there's not like a consistent like, I hate this book. You know, every review I was like, people loved it. But then again, I didn't touch on the 1-star reviews, so like maybe that's why. But 5 stars. 5 freaking stars. It was fantastic. The next book is actually, I guess it would be the next 2 in this series, but it's Scarred and Wretched by Emily McIntyre. Yeah. No. So I've still only read Hooked by Emily McIntyre, which is still a great book. It's still one of my faves. I tried to read Scarred. Was it January? It might have been January last month. And I just don't know if I was just not in the right headspace. As I was reading it, it felt very historical, even though I don't think it is historical. But it just felt very historical, and I'm not a historical girly. So I just kind of DNF'd it, and I will get back to it at some point. But basically, Scarred is, you know, a retelling of The Lion King. And we have the one brother, Tristan, who is like the bad, you know, the bad son, the dark son, you know. And then we have this other son, which I can't remember his name, but he's like Mufasa. And he's set to marry Sarah, which is like Sarabi, you know. So it's like that. It's like she's coming to an arranged marriage to marry Mufasa. That's not his name, and I can't think of what his name is. But, you know, she's going to get with Tristan instead. And I've heard it's great. A lot of people love it. I just could not get past I just don't think I was in the right headspace, let's be honest. But I will go back to it eventually. Okay, the next book is Bound by Honor by Cora Riley. No. Have not read that either. It was on my February TBR of like this month. Will I get to it? Maybe. I still have a week left. Well, I don't have necessarily have a full week, but I have like to Thursday of this week. I could finish it. It's Saturday. So I could read it. If I finish the book I'm reading now, get to it. It's a rather short book. I have it right here. I always have my TBR in front, like, so my bed is behind you guys. And I always have my TBR on the floor here, so it stares at me every day. And it's like, you need to get to me, girl. So, like, I have it. I could do it. I think I could do it. I just, will I? That's the thing. That's the thing. But this is a mafia romance, and it's like it's got a big universe, but this was the first one in the series, so we'll see. I will get to her eventually. That's what I say all the time, isn't it? At this point, it's like I'll get to it when I get to it. It's Sea Cherry, and it is the Element series. Now, look. I've read 2 out of the 4. I loved The Air He Breathes. Gave it 5 stars. I liked The Fire Between High and Low. I gave it 4 stars. I have The Silent Waters right here. It's on my TBR for February. I will most likely not get to that one. But I hear that's a lot of people's favorites. I might just have to read. I don't know. Maybe I'll do like a TBR rollover and put. What am I saying? I don't do that. You know, I will get to it when I get to it. But I know that I enjoy her writing now, so like I can kind of gauge if a book's going to be 5 stars for me from her. And I have a feeling with the hype that that one probably is. But no, I did not finish the series. But I did read books 1 and 2, and I am claiming that as a win. The next series have been on my TBR for I don't know how long, but I'm scared to death to read that. And it is the Ravenhood series by Kate. Stop it right now. Oh my gosh. I read this back in July, and I freaking love this trilogy so much. Look, these books I read in like 2 weeks, and I don't read trilogies back to back. I don't binge series, because if you're new here, I am in the middle of like 20. I don't do that. But this book had a chokehold on me for the first 2 weeks of July, and I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. Just like, if you have yet to read the Ravenhood trilogy, just go in blind. Do not look up reviews. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You just go and just read it, okay? You know, okay, I'm going to give you just a little bit of snippet, and it's all you're going to get. So we're following this girl, Cecilia, okay? She is going to live with her father for the next year so she can gain her inheritance, so she can go back and take care of her mother, because that's who she spent the majority of her time with. Her and her father do not have a relationship. They just don't. While she's there in this town, she's going to be working at his factory that he owns. When she gets to town and gets to work, she meets this guy, and he opens her world up to this thing that she just never thought could be for her. And that's all I'm going to say. That's all you need to know, okay? Just go in and read it and enjoy it and love it, and then come back and tell me how much you loved it. If you hated it, I don't want to know you. We can't be friends. That's just how it is, okay? Just, I need to reread this because it was just so good. And I listened to it on audio when I read it. And Joe Arden, sir, oh, so good at narrating this. So good. But like, yeah. Oh my gosh. Every book was a 5-star. Every single one. I did so well. I was like, I knew this was going to be a 5-star because of the hype. And it didn't disappoint me one bit. They're by Melanie Harlow, and they are... Okay, yeah. So I have read book 1 in the Cloverleaf Farms, which is Irresistible. I gave it 5 stars. So I know my stuff. I know me so well. Thank you. But this is a small town romance series, and they're all surrounding sisters. And the first one is about Franny, and I want to say his name is Mac. I'm getting Mac, but I can't remember. And he works at Cloverleaf Farms, which is like it's not like a resort, but it's like, I think it's like a winery, and like there's places to have parties, and her family owns that. So she kind of does the desk, and he works in the finance, but she's also his nanny. So there's also that aspect where it's like taboo. And he has 3 daughters, and they all have their own books in the second generation. So honestly, it's a good time. If you love small town, you'll love Melanie Harlow. That's just how it is. It's just how it is. I'm not even giving you an option. It just is how it is. And I loved it. So gave it 5 stars. Have not continued, but that's because there's so many books and so little time. And I just feel like if I binge a series that I don't have as many to talk about, you know, because it's technically, it's all one book because it's one series. You know what I mean? You probably don't know what I mean. But if you do, you know what I mean.
Is Blaming on the Alcohol
have not read
series by
anything by Fiona Cole other than, what's that book called? What's that book called? The first book in her series, Voyeur. I read that. I really like that, but I haven't read any of these. I think they're all, I don't know if they're small town, but I know one's like a marriage, like a Vegas marriage or something. I can't even lie and say that I know what these books are about. I really liked the covers, and I know they're romances, and I liked her voyeur book. So I was like, I'm going to put those on here as well. I'm going to be fully transparent with you guys and say, I don't know a thing about those books. I know there's like a boss, I think, and they're different tropes. Every book has a different trope. That's all I know. It's fine. It's fine. But no, I have not read them. Next book is The Doctor by Nikki Sloan. This is the first. I did read The Doctor by Nikki Sloan. I read it last month and I gave it 3 stars. Not because the writing was bad, but because it's more smut than plot. And if you don't, like, look, I am all for a smutty good time. Like, I'll be the first one to admit it, okay? But at the time when I was reading this book, I thought I was going to be getting more than just, like, a lot of, like, good times. Which is fine in a book. Like I said, I don't care. But I guess I wasn't in the right mindset to be like, okay, we're not getting much, like, character development in this book. So I gave it 3 stars. If I had to go back and know what I know now, would I still give it 5? Probably not. But that's okay. I hear the other books in the series are really good as well. So, like, I have high hopes that, like, it'll get better as I continue. But this was just a good time. It was a good time. There just wasn't a lot of character development. And like I said, usually I don't mind. But at that time when I was reading it, I minded. So, 3 stars it was. But I will continue because I do like her writing. The next book on my list is specifically June 1st by Jennifer Hardman, but really I'm expecting... Still have not read a Jennifer Hardman book yet. And I put her on so many TBRs, and I don't know why I'm not just gonna just like bite the bullet and read one. I couldn't tell you. Still haven't read this one. Still haven't read Still Beating. Still haven't read any of them. Do I continue to buy her books? Yeah. Do I even know if I'm going to like her writing? No. That's just the price you pay when you're a book collector. You see books and you buy them. That's just how it is. But now I will eventually get to her. I know I will. I just don't know when it's going to be. And June 1st is basically like a foster sibling romance. And it is, you know, taboo in that sense, but probably gonna make me cry, as books tend to do. The next books are just Mariana Zapata books. I have not read a Mariana Zapata book at all. And I think I fully understand why I haven't. So she is Queen of Slow Burn. And I have heard that it takes almost like 90% of the book for them to kiss. Now remember when I said I don't care if there's a lot of smut in my books, but I need character development? Well, I also need some smut in my books. I'm a complicated person, I know. But are you telling me I'm going to read a 600-page book and I'm not going to get anything until like the last 10% of the book? I just don't know how I feel about that. There better be so much freaking tension on the page. Like, I need something. You gotta give me breadcrumbs. You have to give me something. And I don't know if she gives me something. So I'm still putting off her books. Like, I have 2. I have The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, and I have All Roads Lead Here. And I'm just kind of waiting to see. Because, like, sometimes if I'm reading a book and if they haven't kissed at, like, the 10-20% mark, I'm like, what are you doing? What are we doing? And this is like the 90% mark. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'll get to her eventually, I think. Maybe.
I have high hopes for them. Give her 5.
The second to last series is the Hades Hangman series. Or Hangman. I think it's Hades. R.I.P. to the Hades Hangman series. If you know, you know. So this was a Motorcycle Club series that is now gone. It's gone. You cannot get it anymore. Not on Amazon, not on our website. Chili Cole has yanked it from existence. It's gone. There was a lot of stuff that happened over the past, when was that happened? Fall, that caused her to take it down. Before then, I did get to read the first book, and I really enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure I gave it a 5 stars. It was really good. I really liked it. However, I cannot continue because they're gone from the universe. So, like I said, RIP to this series. But to those who have read it, I hope it was good. It was really dark. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise that I'm not going to continue. But the first book I really enjoyed, so I did give it 5 stars. The last series on my list is The Fallen Men. I still haven't read the series. I still don't know if it's going to be a 5 stars. I own all the books except for the new one that just came out. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. It's fine. We're just hanging on. We're just hanging on. I'll get to it eventually, maybe at some point. But no. Still haven't gotten to The Fallen Men. Yep, that's me. Look, there's so many books in so little time. I just don't, I need 2 of me, okay? And I need 2 of me. Is that the last book? Okay, so that's it. Those are the 15 books / series that I thought were going to be 5 stars. I didn't keep tally of what I read and what I haven't, so couldn't tell you how well I did. Maybe I'll put it somewhere. Maybe I'll do it when I'm editing. But now that I know what I, chose here, and it's been a year and a half, and I would like to think that I have gotten a little bit more comfortable with my reading, a little bit more knowing of what I like in books or what I'm going to like in books. I can do this now for this year and be spot on with all my guesses. Do you hear the sarcasm? Because you should. But no, I like to think that you continue to figure out who you are as a reader and know what you like and what you don't like. Because I know going into a book that is like Friends to Lovers or something like that, it's not going to be like a full 5 stars because I don't like Friends to Lovers. But sometimes they surprise me. But for the most part, if it's tropes that I'm not fully about, it's not going to be a 5 stars. But sometimes books surprise me. So, in the comments below, let me know if you have read any of the books that were on my 5-star predictions, or give me one of your 5-star predictions for this year. I would love to know what you guys think is going to be a big winner for you, or if you just want to leave me an emoji to let me know you were here, leave me the star emoji because it just makes sense. It just makes sense. If you're new and enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're new. I would love for you to stick around and join the channel. All my social media is linked down below as always, my Goodreads and my Instagram if you want to stay more up to date and day-to-day and behind the scenes with what I'm reading. But I hope you all are having a great day or evening, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.